All right, so you guys ask me all the time, what's better, BMW or Toyota? Well, it just really all depends on what you're looking for. So we're in the BMW right now. We'll take a little drive here with the head mount. We'll have a little talk about it. All right, so we're driving the BMW, driving the E39. So this is kind of an older model, but it falls in the same year range that my Sequoia does. So maybe it'd be kind of a comparison. But the BMWs, if you want something that is, windshield wipers junk, I guess. If you want something that is nice to drive, right? And this is an older example. It rides smooth, it's quiet, smooth, and fast, right? That's the three biggest things when you get to be old man like me you look for in a car. And you're not so much into the rough riding stuff, you know, not so much into stuff that's annoying to drive. You're gonna be able to turn your stereo on. This one doesn't have Bluetooth, but like the M5, my old E60, the E90, all is Bluetooth stuff. You turn your heated seats on, you got your Bluetooth going on. You have some options. You can talk on your phone. You know, there's creature comforts to it. Now, all these cars, except for the M5, is new around $40,000–$50,000. And a lot of the Toyota cars, comparable, are $25,000 cars, right? And so BMW does basically inline six, V8s, and the M5 case V10, and almost everything. And where Toyota does mostly four-cylinder stuff in the smaller cars, some Camrys had the V6, and then your V8s in the bigger vehicles. There was no inline sixes. That all went out in the 90s, and with the Supra, right? It had some early 2000s in the IS250, IS300 is what it was. And even the IS300 these years, which would be directly comparable to this car, there's not a lot of creature comforts in it. It's an extremely basic vehicle. And the issue is, I think we'll turn around right here. The price on the Lexus stuff is about the same price, right? Is the Lexus stuff more reliable? Yeah, it probably is, but it's definitely not more comfortable at all. Like, not even close, right? I've had a lot of Lexus stuff. I've ridden a lot of Lexus stuff. I had friends that had a lot of Lexus stuff. There's just something different about BMWs. Now, the Lexus, you can mistreat it more, you could abuse it more than a BMW. Does it make it a nicer car? No, it doesn't really. It all depends on what you're looking for. If you want to get into something, go from point A to point B, just abuse the hell out of it, never change the oil in it, then a Toyota is probably a thing for you. If you're particular about your cars, you keep them clean, you keep up on the maintenance on it, that's when you want an Audi, BMW, Mercedes, you know, one of the German cars. They are a lot more particular. All right, so we're driving the big Sequoia. At this point, it's kind of like driving a monster truck, but you can tell it's just super plain. I mean, there's no creature comforts. This has more options than most Toyotas probably have, and not as much as some Lexus stuff has. Most Toyotas are pretty bare on the options, and this thing's lifted, granted, but you notice with like the Camrys and the Corollas and all that kind of stuff, they don't necessarily ride smooth. They're not quiet on the inside at all. Like I said, if you get heated seats in one of those, it has to be a limited. Even all those don't have that, and etc. The biggest thing also about the Toyota cars is most of those are front-wheel drive. None of the BMWs are front-wheel drive. You occasionally get a X-Drive that's all-wheel drive, and there's a big, huge difference on that too. Now, this thing has 407,000 miles on it. It's still driving. Do I like driving this vehicle? No, I don't. To be honest with you, I try not to drive it unless I absolutely have to. Usually when we're pulling the car hauler and stuff like that. And my personal opinion on it is, I even thought about buying another Toyota for my Toyota channel, but can I go drive a Camry and be happy with it? Not really. to be honest with you. It just doesn't tickle my fancy like a good German car does. It just doesn't. You know, call me biased, but I mean, it just doesn't. I've had Lexus ES 300s before. I've had all kinds of stuff before, but nothing gave me quite the experience as the BMWs or even an Audi or, you know, something like that. Everything has its purpose in life. If you don't make very much money and you just want something to drive and never touch it, besides change the oil, change the brakes, and change the tires, I think a Toyota's for you. If you go over to the Honda stuff, that's even less options, less creature comforts, but the overall car is a little cheaper than buying a new Toyota. But to be honest, you know, that stuff's raising a price quite rapidly. So you pay for a little more up front on some items on the Toyota market, but it's never as much as the BMWs are. You know, your average BMW starts with about 45 grand and goes up. Like I said, most of these Toyotas are cheaper. Now the big Sequoia and things like that are not cheaper. They're like 60 and 70. Well, the Lexus is like 85 and up, but for the LX 570. Now, you know, it's just all on what you're into. Now, here's something to think about too for the front wheel drive part of it. If you live somewhere where it's snowy, your front wheel drive's gonna get around a little better than a rear wheel drive. People are gonna argue that in the comments. It just will. I mean, it's not right. It's common knowledge. All the newer Toyota stuff has traction control, ride stability, and it's pretty good. You know, I've had several Toyotas that had traction control in it. It was pretty decent. So if you're just into something from a point A to point B car, not even a daily driver. Let's say you live in an apartment in the city. Let's go a little further. Chicago is probably the worst place to get a car worked on in America. That's the maximum worst place, right? Everybody's gouging everybody. A lot of the viewers are from there. A lot of good friends are from there. Let's say you live in Chicago in an apartment. You don't have any tools to work on cars. You don't know how to work on cars. You want to buy a Toyota. You don't want to buy a BMW, all right? Let's say you live like where I do at. Most houses here have a shop or a 2-car garage or 1-car garage. You can get stuff fixed for not, it's still expensive to get anything fixed here, right? You get stuff fixed here cheaper than anywhere else, more likely. And you like to tinker with stuff, you know how to turn a wrench, you have a basic scanner, you can buy a BMW and not have too many problems with it. Obviously, they're a little more costly to run, even if you do work on them yourself. So if you're making $10 an hour, 11 bucks an hour, you don't want to own a BMW, period. So that's kind of my take on it. It's kind of a bizarre comparison because I'm biased on both ways. I have both vehicles, and some things I like more than others. But, you know, I don't know. Is Toyota my first choice? No, it's not. I mean, it's just not. Right, now I've been looking at the new Lexus stuff for tow vehicles. BMW doesn't make anything big enough for a tow vehicle. A lot of you argue X5 will tow stuff. No, it won't. That ZF transmission, that's not a tow vehicle. It's a short-term tow vehicle. When you're looking for a tow vehicle, looking for something that just won't break. And so we want to go with Lexus for that. If you're out somewhere, you break down with the car hauler, and you have to get towed back in, you have to get your car hauler towed in, and another trip to bring your vehicle back in, that's pretty costly, to be totally honest with you. And you don't want to have to do that. So that's my opinion of it, guys. Take it for what you will. Hopefully this clears it up a little bit, and when you should buy a Toyota and when you should buy a BMW. Thanks for watching.